All right, this is the last session for the night. I had already wire cut this from the table, but I think I did so much, just enough work in pressing on it that I probably pressed it right back onto the table again. So I'm just gonna try to wire cut through once more to separate it. There. So I wanted to be able to move it over for you. As you can see, he left some skin behind. We're just gonna scrape right off of there. And when you separate it like that, it's such a thin layer that it doesn't make a difference, because you probably would have ended up going in there and you know, scraping most of that out anyway when you hollow. So this gives me an opportunity to turn it around, look at it from different angles, scrape away a little bit of the excess that's going on. You know, there's excess in a lot of places because I'm not cleaning this up to the degree that I'm going to need to. But, you know, I just want to make sure everything's okay before I go to bed. And this is going to get covered. It's going to be in its own plastic bag. But I'm not going to add water to it or anything because I do want it to slightly harden. It's only going to harden so much covered in the bag, but it'll be a little more than it is right now. So I'm going to flick away the dust on the brush and just brush away some of the little clay deposits that are dropping onto this. And I'm just cleaning up these edges here too. I'm going to try to work this way. Now I wanted to put a little bit of detailing on his belly, and I think I need to start from the center part. This is the tool I was looking for. So I think I'm going to start from the center part and sort of create a curve under and down. So I'm just digging out a line with this tool first. It's not exactly centered. It's close enough. I'm good with it. I actually went off of the beaten path a little bit just then. It's cool though. Matter of fact, I want a different tool. Let's see if I can find it. I think this one might do the trick. We shall soon see. I've got it at a slight angle because I want to gouge this a little bit, not too deeply. And then I'm going to come in on the other side and angle too. You learn to be ambidextrous. I am definitely right-handed, so that was a little taxing just to even do. I think with this one, I'm going to scrape it out slowly but surely. I need to reposition this light. I can't see what I'm doing. There, that's better. Did I cover it? No, I thought I covered the camera view for you guys, but we're good. Of course, I'm leaving little clay deposits as I scrape that I don't want there, so I'm using the same tool just to lightly drag it along and pick some of those up. Very gentle, light touch work here right now. Sorry, and I was trying to keep it a certain way for you to see, but that's not what's best for me, so I've got to turn it around a little. right, now I need my needle tool because I just want to put a little bit of design detail in between the fins. You know what they say, slow and steady wins the race, so here we are. Just so you know, right now in my head, Ed Sheeran's Evergreen is playing. And the subconscious reasoning for that is he's telling the young lady how he's going to love her even when her hair turns gray, even when she's starting to age and become a different person. And I was sitting up thinking about how at 57, not that that's so old, but you know, it's not so young, you know what I'm saying? I'm really pleased that everything is going right with me physically so that I'm able to do finite details like this. You know what I'm saying? Like my hand doesn't shake, neither one of them. So I'm able to go in and do things like this and feel pretty confident that at this moment in time, my body is not set up in a way to betray me and make this a frustrating process. And you know what? That's a blessing. I don't take stuff like that for granted at all. And probably it's why I don't have the same hang-ups that far too many people I feel have about aging. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like real thankful to be here, real thankful to be of sound mind and for the most part body, and to be able to still create and feel like I have so much more left in me. You know, as things keep going the way they are, that's going to happen. You know, I've still got a lot to do. And every day that you're allowed to do it and you're not in pain or you're not fighting some sort of spiritual or mental battle, that's the thing that you need to, you know, just occasionally sit back and reflect on and be pleased about. It's a very pleasing revelation, realization, you know. Gently brushing, because everything's still soft enough that I can, you know, make a dramatic move, an unintended dramatic move, and dismantle things. I was even thinking about, I've got this in my hand, and I went to twirl it into a different position, and immediately realized that my fingers were holding it too loosely, and in that split second, I foresaw this dropping onto the clay and, you know, gouging out something. So, common sense, which I'm working on, just told me, all right, if you just saw that happen in your mind, you might actually accidentally be manifesting, so just put it down. How about that? And then it can't go wrong. So that's what I did. So now that this has been turned around facing you, it should be very obvious what it is. For those of you who aren't familiar with this exquisite creature, it is called a seahorse, and I've always been mildly fascinated by them. The reason I say mildly is because I've never done any real research on them. You know, I know very little about them. I don't even know if they live in, I guess, are they saltwater? I'm guessing. I know that the males carry the babies, and that's a-okay with me, because I'm just like, yeah, all right, I am not mad at that. Let them know what it's like to be big and hormonal. I don't think they get hormonal, but you know what I mean. So that was always an intriguing fact for me, and I'm probably going to end up doing some reading up on them in a few minutes. Actually, I'll probably go on YouTube and just look up seahorses and find out some new and interesting things that might intrigue me even more. I've just always loved the look of them. Again, they're just exquisite, unusual creatures. And the dopest thing about it is that, you know, they didn't try to get all extra with the name and assign it some name that didn't really correlate to what you see visually. But on this they did. They called it a seahorse. And that's exactly what he looks like. And how amazing is that? That's just amazing to me. There's so many different creatures. I love watching, you know, Secrets of the Deep Blue Sea and, you know, any type of documentary that deals with aquatic life in the depths, you know, in areas that, you know, you really have to be skilled to even traverse them and find out what lives there. And those are some really interesting shows. It's like they're just all of these creatures, and they all have this purpose, and they just carry out their purpose. Be that predator, prey, some sort of complementary protection in any kind of way to another creature. They're just out there existing and doing what they were put here to do. And it's a shame that we don't know that life. You know what I'm saying? Most of us don't get an opportunity to live out our purpose, the thing that brings us the most joy. We don't just get to do that 24/7. We have little snippets of it, you know, little slices of heaven, like this for me right now. You know, this is my little slice of heaven. But I also know that tomorrow morning, you know, I got to get up and do the thing that pays the actual bills, when I'd rather do this all day and have it pay the actual bills. And who knows, you know? Who knows? That could happen for me. But the thing about being passionate about something is that you're going to continue to do it without that guarantee, without that promise, because it brings you so much fulfillment, so much peace, so much joy, that it has to be a part of your life. Once I made my vow to myself back in 2012 to create every day, it's become not only a discipline, but it's an actualization. It's me saying to the universe, I really took this for granted for way too long, and you were probably really aggravated for how cavalier I was about this talent that some people wish they had. So when I made that vow to myself to honor it and create something every day, and mind you, I want to be clear when I say create every day. Notice I didn't say create a masterpiece every day, create a legacy piece every day, create something that you know is going to sell every day. No, all of that is residual. Those are positive residual consequences that come from you first paying tribute to your own talents, honoring them, and immersing yourself in them every single chance that you get. And the rest, as it is intended for you, will come along exactly how and when it's supposed to. Now, is that always within our timing and when we want it to happen? Absolutely freaking not. That's where passion and purpose come back into the picture, because you're going to continue to do it without that promise or that guarantee, because life is just not as interesting if you're not doing it. And we should all want life to be pretty damned interesting if we have any say-so about it. And we have a lot more say-so than we sometimes think we do. The job is a necessity. My spare time in doing this is how I gift myself. I give myself the gift of absolute peace. I gift myself absolute happiness. And that's what you have to do for yourself. No one can do it for you. Ah, he's so beautiful. I'm going to hold him up a little because the camera right now is at an angle. I've got to slide him off of the table and into my hand very gently. So, let me angle the slide a little differently. I think I did it wrong. Maybe that's better. This is my baby right here. This is my baby. And he's going to make a beautiful pendant. And I think that before I go to bed, I need to go ahead and mark off that pendant hole. He's so delicate, I don't want to accidentally interfere with his snout, so I'm trying so hard not to handle him too much. I do have to bag him before I go to bed so that the clay will dry very, very slowly, but I have to be mindful of handling him because he's exquisite, okay? All right, so let's see. I bought, oh, my mother used to get on me about that. That used to aggravate her to no end, that it was difficult for me to tell the difference between when I should use brought and when I should use bought. So I find myself correcting that from time to time in honor of her. So I'm going to, you know what? I might be able to make the initial hole with this, the end of this tool. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try that, because I think if I put it in between these two fins, it'll hold up pretty upright. So I'm going to press, and now I'm just going to twirl and bore the hole in. Keeping it upright, making sure not to allow my fingers to wiggle from side to side so that I'm boring a hole straight down. Now, you can see that I've touched the table because it's moving right now. So now I'm just going to hold his head gently and reverse back out. I'm going to slide him off for you so that you can see the hole. I'm pulling him off by the thickest part of his head, sliding him gently onto my fingers. And there, I have created the hole that the leather string that I bought for all of my pendants, that's the hole it's going to go through. And the great thing about using that tool, and you just end up finding new uses for everything that you had a very singular use for at one point based on necessity. And you know what they say, necessity is the mother of invention. Now, I didn't invent anything, of course, but it made me have to contemplate what could make the perfect size hole, because clay shrinks when it starts to dry. It definitely shrinks when all of the moisture is pulled out of it in the kiln, and you want to leave a hole big enough so that when it shrinks, you're still able to fit that string through. Now, this is the string that I use, 100% leather, and don't know if you can see that, but that's the diameter. Hopefully you can see this. So there is plenty of room around that hole. Now, it's not going to shrink to the point that it becomes a pinhole, but it is going to shrink some, and you have to take that into account and make sure that whatever you're creating your hole with and using to bore a hole into, that it works for that. At the studio, she puts it on these stilts, so it's like these, two end pieces, and there are bars in between it, and she'll take off the bar, slide the seahorse on, and then put it into the kiln, and that's how he'll dry. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this boy. He's coming out so beautifully. And I didn't make him as ornate as I started out to. I started to try to do a lot more with him, but something's telling me to just leave it right here. And, I can get more experimental with the next piece, because I am going to make another seahorse. I really love them. I think they're exquisite. And I want to have a few in the collection, because I don't see many people like rocking with seahorses or rocking them as jewelry. So, if nobody purchases these, they'll be my own private collection that, trust me when I say, I will rock them proudly. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think there's somebody out there who is fascinated by seahorses and is just going to go, oh my God, finally, something beautiful and handcrafted that I can wear and keep close to my heart. That's me fantasizing. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of fantasy. Fantasy can manifest. Okay, so that's it. We're done for the night. I'm going to grab a plastic bag, and I'll show myself sliding him into the bag. Hang on one second, guys. I keep a very serious stash of Ziploc bags, like 50 of them or whatever. So once again, pulling him by the most secure part, which is the top of his head at this point. And as soon as that tail starts to come off of the table, I'm just letting it sort of fall onto my fingers. This is a very lightweight piece, and when it dries, it's going to be lightweight. So I don't even know if I'm going to hollow out the body. Well, I probably will, because that's just me. I don't like to see things necessarily flat like that. So I'll probably hollow in the back, this area, just this area. Of course, the fins cannot be hollowed out. Those will just hopefully dry the way they're supposed to. The reason why it's best for me to hollow out the back is just because it's a thicker area of clay. It's going to dry more slowly than everything else if I keep it like that. And because the fins, this area of the snout, because those are going to dry so quickly, when that shrinking process starts to happen, what's already dry, moisture is pulled from the pieces that are completely dry, and that's when your cracks happen. So it's always best, I understand, to pretty much hollow out as much as you can, keep a uniformity with regards to the wall thickness and the dimensions of the piece all around, and hopefully you'll have, much greater success in the kiln. And I told you in another video, I had one casualty of an old piece, but all of the pendants that I sent, they made it out. They made it out of the fire just fine. So I had, I think, 2 cat pendants, a lion. If you guys remember the antelope, he came out. And then there were the handcrafted beads that I did. So at this point, regarding pendants, I have another lion pendant. I'm going to be working on a cougar pendant tomorrow, or possibly a lion pendant. I haven't decided. I've got a few other pendants that have a cornrows focus, and now the first of what's going to be many seahorse pendants. So I'm actually going to leave him on the table just like this. I'm not sealing up the bag because that's not necessary. I'm not going to be working here anymore tonight because I'm getting ready to go to bed, and nothing happens with this table. My son doesn't come around this table. The cat doesn't jump on this table, nothing like that. so I don't have to worry about bumping into it or anything that's going to disturb, what I've done. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean up a little bit. I've been talking for a good while, and we are now calling this at, I can't see. We're calling this at 34 minutes. So let's just say I've been talking for about 4 minutes. So we're going to call it 30 minutes. And this is the last session for the night. And the seahorse should be complete tomorrow. Still being good, still being disciplined, and making sure to clean off my work area so that tomorrow, when I come in hot at lunchtime, I can just get right to work. And that's always a really great feeling. You know what it's like. You know what it is. It's always dope when you go into your bedroom. The floor is mopped. The bed is made. The living room is looking wonderful. And you've got your candles burning. And you just come home and it feels like peace, because it is peace. So I want the same for my work area that I want for my home in general. Peace and a sense of orderliness and an opportunity to get right to work. Because we have so little time, especially when you have a 9 to 5. So I'm rambling, y'all, because I'm sleepy. It's all good. As always, thank you for hanging in here with me. I'm talking to no one because at this point, I don't put very much of me speaking at all on TikTok. I just save it for the YouTube channel where I feel like people are more focused. They're looking for something in particular and they want to hear the specifics. But if this part makes it to TikTok, help me run my numbers up. I mean, my subscriptions are just pathetic at this point. I have 84 subscribers, and I know way more people than that across the multiple platforms. And I really wish you guys would support in that way. Take a second and, hit me up. Hit my YouTube channel up. It's Art by Terry, Terri, 5464. Go there, click that subscribe button. I hope that you'll watch all the videos. I hope you'll watch some of the videos. But if you don't even watch any of the videos, do that for your girl. Help me run my numbers up, all right? Peace.